Namaste, everybody. Come on in, come on in. Namaste, my Zen zebras, my merry mermaids, my unique unicorns, my merry mermen. I just went and looked at my analytics. You know, being a Virgo, I always have to look at my analytics like compulsively. And yeah, that it's not 100% subscribed, but some videos are more subscribed than others, and I guess I can't play with that. You know, it's up to you whether you're gonna be interested in my subject matter and then actually subscribe. But it's okay, I'm cool with it. I calmed myself down with it. But I just came on real quick because I went to the movies. The movies have changed to my first place of happy place because the nail shop gave me a bad taste in my mouth. And you guys know what happened. But the reason why I'm popping on, and I'm at the store, I'm at Market Street after the movies, and I have to pick up something for dinner, and I have no wine. So I need to get my regular wine. Like, I do have a pathetic version of my wine, but I don't like it so much that, because I'm such a princess, that I didn't drink anything last night because I was so mad that I wanted my special wine, but I didn't feel in the mood to get it because I felt dizzy yesterday because I was standing outside. I was talking on the phone, and it was really hot out, and I got myself dehydrated, and it took like hours of sitting there drinking my water to get back up. Hi, Rain Cloud. I'm just doing a quick jump on because I have like two things. I have something to say about, believe it or not, the Chris Watts case, SHAN'ANN. And you guys might not remember that case where the husband murdered his wife SHAN'ANN, and she was pregnant with a little boy named, his name was going to be Nico. Well, his name is Nico in heaven. And their two little daughters, Bella Marie and Cece, Celeste Catherine. Anyhow, I worked on that, so we all knew who did it, but there's a lot of information coming up, and I have the book, the new book. I bought the old book and I got rid of it because it friggin' creeped me out. I finally had to throw it out. Guess what happened? It was like a Ouija board. I threw it out in the garbage. It ended up back in my car. So I threw it out again. Okay, but I threw it out not in my own garbage. I threw it out somewhere else. Because it was creepy. It was red and black, like his face was lit up in red. And I went through it. It's so 2020. But I bought the new book, and I haven't read it, to tell you the truth. I'm a very bad reader. I want the books. I asked Evan to order me these books, and I always try to get them on sale because I'm not a good reader. Okay, like in school, like, how do you get a master's degree in English without reading? I did read, but a lot of times I would get the movie, the cliff notes, and then take notes on the cliff notes. I don't know, it's probably because my ADD. It's even 400 pages is a lot for me. Like, I would have to take, read it like maybe 10 pages a day or 20 pages and then skip a day. I don't know. But I also bought so the new Chris Watts book, which means a person that interviewed him or a person that did research or whatnot. I really want to get into it, but then when I asked my audience, nobody said anything. This was months ago I got these books. I also got Kyron Horman. That's a real big book. I have looked at that one because there's a lot of pictures, and I get a lot of information psychically from pictures. That's why the Chris Watts cover freaked me out, because he's a murderer and he was on there. The energy from that book, oh my gosh. I'm thinking about it, and I need to fan myself. Anyhow, hi Taurus girl, how are you? Nice to see you. Okay, yeah, so I didn't tell anybody I was going live because I didn't know I was going live. I was going to do a little video after the movies. I saw a movie with Blake Lively. And at first I thought, oh, this is going to be sappy. But I didn't want to see something scary by myself. But I was forcing myself to go to the movies because I think I went once with Devin, and that was many months ago. And I was like, the whole summer went by, and I'm going back to work this week, and I didn't go to the movies. I mean, not that I can't go to the movies, you know. I can, but it's just, I'm glad I went. Because my brother-in-law came over to go swimming in the pool, and I went swimming last weekend. I just didn't feel like doing the same thing this weekend. So I wanted to get myself to the movies, and my phone was blinking because there was a little situation with my sister who's sick, but she refused to go to the hospital, but she's okay, you know, she just won't get out of bed. So anyhow, what I wanted to talk about just briefly, because it's so hot in the car, and it's really hot in Texas. I know it's hot everywhere, and maybe some people are getting rain. Oh, thank you, van, for leaving. Now I'm in the sun. I'm going to have to change this position. There's really no shade in this parking lot, but let me just change locales. Oh, this car is coming. This car is coming. There's really no... Okay. That was illegal, what you just did, girl. Now I'm going to do something illegal. No, not really. I'm just trying to move my spot next to a car so I have a little bit of shade. But you got to be careful because there's always cars coming in. Yeah, so just so you guys can remind me, because I forget constantly. I want to say two things. Okay, I want to say, I'm going to have to go this way. I want to say one thing about the Chris Watch situation, and I want to say, and a lot of you probably don't even know about it, but that's kind of why I started my YouTube channel, because SHAN'ANN Catherine Ruzek Watts, she helped me. Because I used to do little Facebook things, and I used to see her on Facebook, of course, when she was alive. And then all of a sudden, you know, I didn't think I was going to resonate with her so much. But I used to watch her, of course, when she was alive on Facebook, not on YouTube. And then later on YouTube, after, you know, I found out the story. But she started talking to me, like, spiritually. Guys, I have to move again because this is really a bad spot. Like, if the sun is in my eyes, I just can't deal. So I'm going to go all the way back here. Such a good twist. And I was like, oh, I'm glad, because you don't want to waste your money. And I got popcorn and a diet Coke Zero. I didn't get candy because I already had my candy at home. I already had peanut butter cups. I had too many. So I said, you're not allowed to, young lady. See, this is still the sun, but can't get away from the sun because it's Texas. Okay. So the two things that I want to talk about. The first one being, anybody else in here? Hi, pandies. Hi, Chaylee. Is it Chaylee or Charlie? And the two vowels go walking. The first one does the talking and says its name. So maybe it's Chaylee, because the A is first before the E. No diet stuff, no fake sugar. Oh, well, I'm not a perfect person. I watch it though. Like yesterday, I went overboard. I had 2 Diet Cokes, but I made it last for like 6 hours. A 12-ounce can for 6 hours. And then I had some salsa. Salsa's good. Okay. Anyhow, yeah, you don't want me to get any fatter than this. But yeah, my Diet Coke is like how people feel about their cigarettes or their vapes. Okay? That's my little cheat thing. And I look forward to it. Like, if you would tell me, listen, you have to give up coffee. I would say bye-bye to you. Okay. Anyway, see, I can't even read the chat because I get too distracted because of the ADD. But what I wanted to tell you guys, in case anybody cares, the first thing is about the Chris Watts case. The second thing is about Dan in the Gypsyrose case. Okay. Let me start with Dan. Okay. And I don't know, again, I don't know if you guys are following with that case, but there was a guy that Gypsy was involved with, and his name is Dan, but they screwed up the picture of him. And as far as anybody knows, he was only involved with her. She met him at like some kind of Star Wars convention. She was in the wheelchair, and he was much older than her and supposedly, allegedly married. And this is all for entertainment reasons and allegedly, and in my opinion. Okay, so don't sue me. All right. Don't have any money. But so basically this guy Dan was like this guy she was crazy about. So she met him when she was 19, but still pretending to be, in a wheelchair. And her mother was at the convention with her. And then suddenly she got away from her mother and got to Dan's hotel room. And who knows what happened in that hotel room, but she was 19 at the time. Right, but pretending to be 15 or 14, whatevs. But she definitely was 19 when this happened. But her mother supposedly and the friends that they were at the convention with found her in the hotel room and got her out. Anyhow, she went to see him one day. She got out of the house when the mother was sleeping, and sorry about the air quotes, but and she knocked on somebody's door and said, please take me to the hospital. I have to visit my friend, Dan, in the hospital. He got beat up. So sometimes she would say he was her boyfriend. Sometimes she said he was her friend. But a lot of people were saying that he was married, and he always said he wanted to move to Arkansas. And she found him online, and that's how they would communicate. And she thought he was going to take her to Arkansas. Okay. Sorry if I say that weird, but I'm not used to saying Arkansas. So, Arkansas. So, my friend White Dove's from there. So, in the end, he went without her because I think he was married. All right. And then there was another story that Dan was in jail. Okay. So then a picture went out about Dan. And some people, some psychics and some sleuths, and some people who, do crime cases, crime channels, really feel heavily that Dan was involved somehow. And you know me, I'll tell you my opinion factually and my opinion spiritually and psychically. Okay, because I have to do psychically because I'm a psychic. So I don't get Dan there. I know there was a cigarette outside, but Gypsy smoked. I don't know why people don't remember that she even admitted to smoking. And she was smoking even when she was with Ryan, and she was smoking even when she was with Ken and a pregnant. Okay. Anyway, I'm in a silly mood. All right, because the movie it helps me to be happy. So, it's so hot. I'm gonna melt in front of you. Okay. So it's a good thing I have my Lucky Charm shirt on, because I can melt in front of you and still be lucky. So a long story short, a lot of pictures were circulated, and there was the old Dan picture and the new Dan picture, and there was like 3 pictures of Dan, and they were all different Dans. And so I watch a channel called Anthony. These 2 cousins from Australia, they're so sweet, and they always acknowledge me when I jump on their live, and they always acknowledge me when I share their videos on my community page, which I share a lot of people's videos, and a lot of people do not even give me the time of day, and then I just erase it. okay? Because I don't play anymore. I'm 60 and a half years old, and if you don't acknowledge me, I'll give you a couple of chances, but if you still ignore me, I'm unfollowing, I'm unsubscribing, and pick a finger. Anyway, I don't have any time for people to just ignore me, okay? I'm on the YouTube streets and the TikTok streets for a long time. So I don't ask for anything except acknowledge if I come into your room, or if I share something, if I say something to you, say something back. Acknowledge my existence. Otherwise, bye-bye. Okay? I've better things to do with my time. I could be making my own videos. Anyway, and the collective can ignore me there, but at least it's my opinion will get out there. Anyhow, sorry. Hi, Juniper. How you doing, Juniper? Nice to see you. Hi, W. Nice to see you. You were so addicted to Diet Coke for some reason. I was like 18, 19 and loved the taste of it. Yeah, I love the taste of it. And when I go to the movies, I get Coke Zero to mix it up, you know, to make it something different. But yeah, I do like the Diet Coke. But I tell myself 1 can a day, or 1 a day. And then sometimes, you know, I'm not a perfect person. I might have 2, but I certainly don't have a bottle. You know, like I monitor myself. I'm always monitoring myself. But yeah, could I be better? Sure, everybody could be better. But anyhow, so I just want to tell you guys these 2 things. It's 17 minutes in already, and I have not gotten to the friggin' point. Okay, so if I look away, it's because that's how I can concentrate better than looking at my big moon head. So what I want to say is, I never felt energetically that Dan was there. I felt like he was like, this girl is out of her mind, and I'm going to get far away as I can. But I do believe that she shared with Dan. This is my opinion, in my opinion. I don't have any facts. This is allegedly. Psychically, I feel she tried to ask Dan to do something to her mother. Allegedly. In my opinion. And Dan was like, I'm outie. This girl's nuts. You know, because Dan met the mother. And he was like, I'm not going anywhere near that. And Dan was embarrassed when Dee Dee barged into the room and retrieved her daughter. And yeah, he could have gotten in a lot more trouble, because supposedly they were trying to pretend that Gypsy was 14. And Gypsy was 19. But I think Gypsy told Dan that, you know what, I'm 19 and I know that I am, but I have to pretend that I'm younger because my mother is making me. So I just believe that Dan was outie. I don't get him. I think there was, Gypsy always has to do a triangulation type of deal, and that's where she can't just be happy with one person. She's got to make another person jealous. She's got to make the person who loves her, or just likes her a little bit, jealous. The person who loves her, very insecure. Because she really only loves herself, or likes herself. Maybe she doesn't even like herself. And so she always has to do a triangulation deal. Okay? And so she saw that Dan was pulling away. She couldn't do anything about it. So she got Nick on the hook, and then every once in a while, when she felt like Nick was not really doing her deeds, she would say, you know what, it'd be okay if I go meet up with Dan. We're gonna just go to a cupcake shop and have a coffee. That's okay, right? Well, how are you gonna do that, Gypsy, if your mother is with you 24/7 and you have to be in a wheelchair when you're with your mother? How are you going to go to a coffee shop during the day and meet him? I don't think, last time I checked, there wasn't like a cupcake shop open during nighttime. Okay, so it was really weird, but Nick fell for it and said, no, I'll be there, I'll come there, you know. So she always did that deal. But meanwhile, I feel that Dan was, and I know for a fact she called her phone call from prison from when she first got arrested. Instead of calling her father, instead of calling her stepmother, instead of calling her cousin, her grandparents, anybody, her next door neighbor, you know who she called? She called Dan, and he would not take the call. He would not take a call. She tried a couple of times. He would not take her calls. That's what she wasted her one phone call on, because she said she didn't have anybody else's number in her head. Okay. Anyhow, so I don't believe, like, there's so many pictures of him around, and, you know, Dan 1, Dan 2, Dan 3, and I believe their name is Anthony, A-N-T, Anthony, the channel of the 2 Australian ladies. I believe they have the correct picture. They did a lot of research, whatnot. So if you want to see who the real Dan is, I don't care, because I don't feel him energetically at the place. Okay, now let's get to Chris Watts. There's a lot of speculation going on because he's serving 3 lifetimes in jail. You know, the rest of his life, no chance of parole because he killed his wife, his unborn baby, and his 2 little baby girls. Now there's a lot of talk that he's talking. Okay, I don't know that for a fact. This is allegedly. But his mistress, saying his mistress was there. And some people believe, I'm not sure if I believe it, but some people, and I've researched it psychically and physical evidence, not physical evidence, but like factual research. A lot of people believe she was there. I do believe she was there. Her saying she wasn't there, it's BS. So she went into hiding and whatnot. But a lot of people, there are some people that believe that the mistress, NK, her name is Nicole Kessinger, right? I haven't said that name in a long time. That she allegedly maybe off the kids. I don't know if she did that. I think she definitely knew about SHAN'ANN and helped him load the kids into the car, but didn't know what was going to happen with the kids. I'm not sure. I couldn't tap into her mind. Okay, I couldn't remote view her mind. I was trying to remote view SHAN'ANN and also Chris Watts. And I don't like being in the murderer's mind. But anyhow, I think from the book, the new book that's out, that I will try to read some excerpts from. And I have the Idaho 4 ones too. But anyhow, I do believe she was in that house and there was a situation. I believe she was hiding downstairs or stayed downstairs in where the bed was. And maybe she climbed out the window. There was a lot of activity with the dogs, the cadaver dogs, in the basement. Okay, so I do believe energetically, and this is just my opinion, right? You know, wacky psychic, okay? Allegedly, that NK was there, and that's why now things are getting real for Chris Watts, and he's like, something he was going to take to the grave. He don't want to take to the grave anymore, if you know what I mean, okay? Because things are, you know, not so pretty in prison. And anyhow, I just feel energetically, was she there? Yes, she was. How much was she involved in what happened? That's what I'm not 100% sure of. And I kind of don't want to tap into it, but I definitely know she was there, doing sexual things with him all along. Even when the girls were there, she was downstairs. The girls met her because I channeled with the girls right after, after they passed away. And Bella, the baby Cece, she didn't know really much. She couldn't really communicate much because she's a little baby, but Bella, she said, I don't like that woman. That woman was holding me, and I wanted my mother. I want my mom. She kept saying it over and over again. And Bella did see SHAN'ANN's body, deceased body, and she said, what's wrong with mommy? And the father said, Chris Watts said, poor, I don't even want to call him a father. The mofo said, mommy's sick, so we're going to get her, we're going to bring her to the hospital. We're going to get mommy help. And meanwhile, mommy was wrapped up in a sheet. And Bella knew that wasn't right. Like she'd feel it. So there's also a story. I mean, and Chris Watts lies just like all the rest of them. But there is a story that he told that he killed them twice. That he killed the kids with, he put something in their bottles, but they didn't drink it. Then he put the pillows over them. And they woke up. That didn't kill them. They woke up from that. So that's why he loaded them in the car, and he had a different plan. Okay, so the whole idea is, did NK do anything to, some people think that she did stuff to SHAN'ANN, but I don't see that. I see her being there, though. Like, SHAN'ANN turned around down the basement. She heard something, and she turned around, and there she was. You know? And she was like, oh, it's a horrible feeling, I can't talk about it right now. Okay, so anyhow, let me know what you think about those two things. I'm going to label this when I could upload it later with the title, because I can't put a title on it right away. It just says live. But when I re-upload it, I'm going to put Gypsyrose Dan, who's the real Dan, and also Chris Watts, NK, you know, something with both of the cases, but I don't know if I have a picture. Anyhow, I love you all. Let me see, is anybody talking? Do I need to read anything? Everybody's still on the Diet Coke? Okay. Gypsyrose is sadistic. Lewis, okay. Don't give me your digits. Okay, I'm a happily married woman. Do you think she stalked Chris? Yes. Yes. McKenna? Yes. She definitely stalked Chris Watts. She knew all about SHAN'ANN. And she lied and said she didn't know about the baby. She found out about the baby on social media because she's constantly watching SHAN'ANN on Facebook, SHAN'ANN on YouTube. She was jealous of SHAN'ANN's life. I mean, look at SHAN'ANN. You ever see a picture of that girl? The raven hair and the green eyes, and she's just gorgeous. Just like she was a go-getter. She was, you know, doing a lot of things and building a business and building her, you know, her company. I never say anybody is perfect, you know, like I don't like having a schedule for kids to go to sleep so early, because I think that kids need to be with you more, and like, I don't know, probably because I didn't like going to sleep early, still don't. Anyway, yeah, now I'm averaging going to sleep at 6 a.m. Last night was 6 a.m. So then I slept till 12 or 11:30. But yeah, I'm totally on a bad schedule, so hopefully I can get back on some sort of schedule. But anyway, I love you guys. I definitely believe she stalked Chris Watts and she stalked SHAN'ANN, and she wanted Chris Watts badly only because she saw, you know, they did get along, because a lot of people don't know this about Chris Watts, or maybe you do. Okay, because I've done my work on that case, and it's just like, it's so old news to me, but now I see it popping up again. I'm like, I forgot I was supposed to do that book, and nobody said anything. So I just figured my staff, My Mystic Brady bunch didn't want to hear anything about it, but maybe I will do it. But anyhow, now I lost my point because I'm old. Okay. All I was gonna say is, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so they got along, but Chris Watts is a sociopath. Okay, allegedly. Okay. Who's in jail? Not me. Okay. Who's in jail for 3 life sentences? Not me. Okay. A sociopath. Okay. So what that means is, even though he maybe didn't show that many signs, we don't know what signs he showed as a kid because his mother doesn't admit to it. His father doesn't admit to it. Okay. So, there was a couple of family friends that talked about what they remember about him, besides being quiet. My mother used to always say, it's always the quiet ones you got to worry about. Because my first boyfriend, Frank, he was quiet. And I was like, oh, isn't he good looking? His green eyes, his blonde hair, his 6'1". And my mother said, yeah, but he's really, really quiet. And she was like, he's very feminine looking. I was like, what is that supposed to mean? And she was like, oh, he's just feminine. I said, but he's skinny. He can't help it if he's skinny. She was like, the quiet ones you got to worry about. And it's true, because he cheated on me. He broke up with me. He was cheating on me all over the place. A bunch of bad stories. But anyhow, so what I wanted to say is Chris Watts would take the personality of the person he was mirroring. And that's what sociopaths do, because they don't have their own personality. So that's why it's hard for them. They could say, like, I like purple, right? Because they see a lot of people around them liking purple, for example. But whoever they're, like, really, like, feeling like is giving them that oxygen, that dopamine, that attention, they'll kind of mirror and be interested in all the things that they like to do. Like, for example, I don't think Gypsy really likes jazz. I think that the Jazz Fest, I think Ken really liked it, or the family, the Rod and stepmother, Christy, really liked it. And Gypsy went along with what they like. I think she does like Taylor Swift because she sees a lot of people that she wants to be like, likes Taylor Swift. That's no shade on Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift. Okay. But what I'm trying to make the point is that Chris Watts would mirror SHAN'ANN's personality. Whatever SHAN'ANN was into. SHAN'ANN wanted to move into a big house. They moved into they got a house that they really couldn't afford, fixed it up, lived with different parents for a time, and then finally, and lived with a friend of theirs, and finally moved into their dream home. That was kind of above their status. Chris Watts didn't really want a fancy life, but he was mirroring whatever SHAN'ANN wanted, okay? He would be interested in the things that she was doing thrive, so he got interested in that. And she was selling on the side and doing videos, so he had to do that, and he was really awkward because he didn't have his own persona. And it's really sad because it's like a personality disorder, so they have to mirror I'm not saying that they can't laugh and they can't be charming and they can't be jokey. They're often I've studied them. They're often very charming, Ted Bundy. They're often very charming and, they could be really engaging because mostly, like Amber Heard, okay? She didn't kill anybody, but she hurt Johnny Depp, but, and she did a lot of weird things, but she has that personality disorder where you could take medicine, you could have therapy and maybe be okay, but you're never going to be without that. So anybody who she's with, she's going to mirror their personality at first and do everything, almost acquiesce to every little thing that they are, because she's trying to mirror everything. And when you mirror somebody else, of course you're laughing at their jokes, you're trying to please them. You're doing everything, and it's like, hey, that's a great guy. You know, Nicole Kessinger said, hey, this guy is so engaging. He's so into me. He's so like acquiesces to me. You know, and she was sort of narcissistic, so that worked. You know, and yeah, so it's a personality disorder. It's nothing good. And, you know, I'm not saying that everybody with the personality disorder will commit anything violent. No, I'm saying a sociopath will often be charming and mirror because they don't really understand themselves. It's like it's empty inside. And it's really scary. Like when I'm channeling somebody that is like that, I freak myself out and I have to end it. And I have to say some prayers and end it and sage myself and white sage and Palo Santo. And then just ask my angels to surround me because it's a horrible feeling. Yeah, you could just pray for them. Anyhow, I'm going to go, guys. I'm sorry. This shouldn't have been this long. I got to get going. And Tammy's here. Tammy, let me make you moderator. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get the wrench? I don't see it. I hit it. Wait. No, I gave it to you. But I don't see it next to your name. But when I went in there, it says, do you want to, let me do it again. No, now it says you're not. So let me do it again. Oh my gosh. Add as moderator. Okay, I added you, girl. I don't know why the wrench isn't coming up. Say something, and maybe the wrench will come up. Okay. Oh, yes, yes! I did it! I did it right! Thank you for being my moderator. It worked, but it threw me out. Oh, I'm glad though. I got you in. Now, it would be a miracle if Forever Bella came on because I'm supposed to give it back to her as well. Anyway, guys, I'm sorry. I gotta go into the store and get my dinner. And poor Devin, I don't know what he had for dinner, but you know, when I go to the movies, you gotta fend for yourself. You probably made a sandwich. Anyway, I love you guys. And Tammy, I'm so glad I made you the moderator. Yeah, Mercury retrograde. Juniper, did you do a lot of stuff on Chris Watts? I know you did a whole bunch of stuff on Summer. I'm not sure if you did anything on Gypsy yet. Let me know. Hi, KC Farms. It's so nice to talk to you guys. Finally, during the day, that my friend Eileen Root said, because I was a little bit sad last night's video did very low. And I was like, I don't know what happened. Probably because I didn't put the music on and I wasn't really lighting the smoke until the very end. And then Devin let me know that I did light the smoke. Anyway, and I was up all night doing that, but I went on so late, and she said I would suggest doing it during the day, you know, doing it early at 1, and then you'll get more people. And I said, yes, you're right. It was just, I was doing too many TikToks last night, and me and Kim Magical were having a TikTok war. We were doing filters and different songs and stuff. We were doing, how many TikToks can we do? Juniper, haven't done either of them on your channel, but you're very aware of them on a psychic spiritual level all along. Yes, I hope you do something on that, on either one of them. Well, but you have to go with what your gut is into. Like, one of the cases I think a lot of people did, I think you did, was Karen. I think was a woman who killed her boyfriend or her husband. And I couldn't resonate with it. I couldn't, and they were East Coast too, and I could not get into it. I had so many people that asked me, hey, aren't you doing that? You know, you probably get more views for that if you did that case. And it was a trial and everything. I freaking could not get into it. I tried. I watched it. I sat down, I watched maybe half hour, then another 20 minutes, and I sat there. I had my pen in my hand and paper, because I like to write notes, and I touched the screen. I freaking couldn't get any energy off of that. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to be fake. I'm not going to be a phony and force myself to do a case that I'm not resonating. I was drawing a blank. Just like Sebastian Rogers. I don't have anything new on him. I have zero feeling. I feel he's in heaven, okay, allegedly, but that's my opinion. Just like Summer feels she's in heaven. A lot of people disagree, you know, but I think she'll be found. I always see her being found a lot like Casey Anthony, you know, the baby. Casey Anthony, when she was found, they found her skull. And that's what I always see with Summer. And then I don't want to feel that energy anymore, and I want her to be happy. And like one time I asked her if she was mad at me, because I don't really get that many visions of her anymore. And Michael, Joseph Vaughn, and they were like, no, Katrina, you did everything. You did everything you could do. They're playing in heaven. So I'm like, don't let me disturb you. Rest in peace, play in peace, be with Jesus, be with Mother Mary, and, you know, and I don't want to pull them out of that. Haven't done any of the... Yes, Ginger Bell. Have I made a crystal grid? No. What is a crystal grid? I don't know what that is. Thank you, Tammy. I don't know what a crystal grid is. Let me know. Yeah, I'm I have anxiety about going back to work, but I think everybody does, like every student. When September comes around, I was the weird kid that would be like, I'm bored with summer. I want to go back to school with new pencils, pens, and books, and folders. I was like, my friends were like, I remember Kathy Tafe and my friend Christine Valvik, and we were standing there, like on the street where we would hang out, and I would say, I can't wait for school to start. And they were like, are you weird? You're a weirdo. And I said, they were like, you're a weirdo, Brady. And I said, but I want school. And then I would go home, and my mother would take one look at me, and she would say, I know, you want school to start. You don't like the summer. And it wasn't because my birthday is in September. It was because I just like new pencils. And I wasn't good at school. I was not good at school. I was good with art and gym. That's it. Okay? But in elementary school, I was not good. And I struggled in junior high. High school, I was starting to be okay. You know, English, psychology, and art. And French. But anyway, yeah, I'm one of those weird people, but now I have a dreading feeling like there's something bad coming, and there's a lot, like, I'm going to be real with you. I'm in Texas, okay? And so there's going to be a lot of people admitted to the schools that came over from the border, right? And so I have Hashimoto's, and I'm not young, okay? And I don't have a filter on today, so just my lipstick, that's it. Sunday, you leave your skin alone. Let it breathe, let it breathe. But anyhow, I just have a bad feeling. And so I say to myself, I mean, I don't have to go back to work. I want to because I need a friggin' schedule. And I also love the kids. I still have energy in me to teach a mini lesson. And I like being a part of, to be the teacher of the classroom. And I like that. Do I want to run my own classroom? Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you very much. You made one for the first time. What is it? It's a symbol that helps charge your crystals. Oh, okay. That sounds awesome. I have this crystal bracelet on that was handmade by Kim Magical. My friend Kim Magical. Psychic Kim Magical. And she made this, I think these are jade or aventurine, and I always wear my crystals. And the way I clean them is I put them in the sun and the moon. Okay, and then when I forget to put my cross back on, I have bad luck. I have bad things that happen. So it's always better to have your crystals on. I think that's real. I'm not sure. But the bracelet's definitely real, and this is the rose quartz. Okay, guys. Oh, Carol Plant, you just got here? Happy Capri? Happy Cappy. Capricorn. I had a message for Capricorns. I'm so behind. Like, guys, I'm not that behind because I just did a reading the other day at night, and that was a collective. That was for anybody, and it was like 10 cards. And I was like falling asleep. But anyhow, I'm behind. I know I have to do the Leo read, and but I started to get a couple of personal reads that I got to do this week that are paid. Okay, so I got to put preference on those, and then if I have time, I want to do like messages for different signs. But I did have a message for Capricorn. It was about love. Loving yourself and somebody, letting somebody in and closing the door on somebody. Closing the door on a relationship that did not work, that is not working. Put a period at the end of the sentence, and that therefore opening the doors to new, something new. Yeah, but I gotta ask my guides what exactly it meant. Because it came in and it was weird, but the energy is weird. So like, that's why I want to wait for the Mercury in retrograde. It's still going on. Juniper, when is Mercury in retrograde done? Do we have to wait to the end of the month before it's done? Because I'm afraid to say certain things during Mercury in retrograde. Selenite helps recharge. Yes, I do have a selenite stick, and I will put my crystals on that. Selenite is the only crystal that helps clean and charge the other crystals. Yes, and I used to have my selenite stick on the windowsill and put the crystals on it, but now I have it on my table so that I could touch it, and then sometimes I put it here. I actually did a selenite dance. One of my videos is selenite dance, and I did a creepy selenite dance. It's really creepy, but it's funny. Certain crystals towards intention and a pattern. Okay. Yeah, I didn't do my moon water this year. I still have my jug. I used to be very into moon water and my crystals outside in the moon and all that jazz. And this year, this summer, spring and summer, no, I don't know. Maybe it was to do with like my sister's health and just not being ambitious for it. And then I was like, because a lot of times I prayed to find, you know, these missing kids. And, well, Dylan was found, but I didn't really work hard on his case. I think I did 2 videos tops. But, you know, I prayed for Lena, Summer, and namely, and Michael Joseph Vaughn to be found. And when it didn't happen, I drank this big jug of moon water, and I did it again, and I did it like, I don't know, 4 times, 5 times. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm just going to say a prayer. I'm just going to have the best intentions, and then I'm going to leave it with God, because it was like I was tearing myself up about it and feeling like a loser, feeling like I lost, like I failed. And I was like, I don't like this feeling. So, you know, how can I change it? Am I not supposed to do this anymore? And sometimes you take a break. But I realize I don't do like a million more videos. Oh, my phone's going dead. I don't do a million videos on Sebastian or Summer or Michael Joseph, because I don't need to do a million videos. People can go back and watch the old